Hello and welcome back to RevZolution. Today you find me on the brand new Honda CBR500R from Crescent Honda in Southampton. This bike is the baby sports bike range that Honda do with their CBR style motorcycles. You got the CBR500R, the CBR650R and also the CBR500R, the big 1000cc daddy of all motorcycles in the Honda range. So with this one, it's got a nice set of carbon fibre body parts all over it. It's got a Yoshimura exhaust wrapped in carbon fibre, and I tell you what, it gives the bike a phenomenal tune. I absolutely love the sound of it. It's nice and deep, and it also pops slightly. I've had this bike for about 3 hours now, and in that time I've given it a good about 60, 70, 80 mile range. Had a good test of it and I'm loving it. It is the type of bike that a new motorcycle rider who is still on a restricted license is going to absolutely love riding. It looks the business for a young rider. I mean, if you rock up somewhere with your friends and you turn up on this bike, you are definitely going to turn some heads. They are going to look at you and think this guy or this girl has got a sweet ride, and definitely get a Yoshimura exhaust. Oh, it sounds amazing. It really does. Just literally second gear on the D throttle, pop pop. Oh, beautiful. Now the other thing with this bike is it's raked underneath the headstop for the handlebars, but then they're risen up slightly. Got some rises on it, so you are leaning forward in a good old sports bike style position. But when they're up slightly higher than down low, it's actually quite comfortable. You could ride this quite comfortably long distance and not have any issues. Obviously, being in a sports style position, you do want to hold the tank with your knees quite tight, just to take the pressure off your wrists and your palms. But the rest of your body, your back and your neck, you're all pretty much bolt upright. You're in a nice alignment. That downshift sounds phenomenal. That is a deep grumble. Honda have done well teaming up with Yoshimura on this this collaboration for this bike. And being 5'8", I am completely flat-footed on both feet. We're on the level ground at the moment. However, even on unlevel grounds, I've not had any issues at all getting my feet down. It's quite a light bike. I can comfortably hold it on a downhill with just my feet and no brake on. The mirrors are in a fantastic position. You can see back quite comfortably. You haven't really got to move your elbows in at all. Flicking it into corners, it is really agile. It's just such a light, nimble motorcycle. But yeah, the wind mirrors, they are very, very good, easy to set up. They're right far forward as well, so the only negative I can think of that is if you do wish to go in, fold the mirrors in for filtering, you are going to be having to lean forward quite far in order to do so. Suspension is soft, but let's face it, it's a sports bike, it's not a adventure bike, so you're not going to have seriously soft suspension. Can we get the bike in here? I'll go right on the end, just here. Just got to pop into the bank quickly, sort some bits out. Let's lock that up, have a quick look at it. So yeah, it's got the Yoshimura exhaust on it there in carbon fibre, and it does sound absolutely fantastic. Very, very nice. It also sets the bike off quite well. I mean, for a 500cc motorcycle, look at that. You could easily mistake that for a proper big sports bike. Delete the 500cc, 500R sticker off the side of that, and yeah, anyone's going to look at that. I think that is a very, very nice motorcycle for a big bike. But let's face it, a 500cc motorcycle is going to save you a lot of money on fuel. Anyway, back to the motorbike in a second. Right, so this bike produces 50 brake horsepower, 31 foot-pound of torque, Let's go this way. And it weighs in at 192 kilograms, so it is a very, very light, capable bike of being a first time motorcycles rider's pride and joy, really. So when you actually look at the display on the bike, it's Honda's basic displays that they have on most of their 500cc motorcycle range, the CBR500R. That's got the same setup where it's a black display with the cream or the white indicators for what you're doing. You've got your speedo on the right hand side, you've got your rev counter left side, gear indicator. This doesn't have a quick shifter, unfortunately, but it is only a 500cc motorcycle, so I mean, you probably could get one added. I wouldn't personally. I don't think it needs a quick shifter. It'd be good fun to have one. However, in its current setup with a standard selector, it's absolutely perfect. Got no dramas with this bike whatsoever. The styling of it, like I said a minute ago, it is absolutely a head turner. For a 500cc bike, Honda have developed this ridiculously well. They really want people to look at their 500cc range and say, wow, that is a bike I want to get. Now, I know I've also mentioned that this bike would be perfect for a first time motorcyclist on a restricted license, but also if you ride a motorbike every now and again, it's not your main mode of transport, you will not be disappointed with this bike, because it's a type of bike you could easily get out with, enjoy, open the taps up a little bit, but not getting to the point where you're in a lot of trouble because it is a Fireblade, for instance. It will just pull you along nicely through the road without any problems at all. It's got enough power, about 50 brake horsepower, just to get you out of trouble, but not enough to get you into trouble. Yes, it will go above the speed limits, and it will go above dual carriageway national speed limits and motorway speed limits. It's a 500cc motorcycle with 50 horsepower. Of course it's going to, but it's not going to get you there lightning fast. So if you don't want a bike that is seriously quick, this is definitely a good contender. Now, the CBR500R, I would say, would be a bit more of a versatile bike. You're going to get better performance out of that. It's got more power. But for a 500cc motorcycle, this, with its weight, it's fantastic. I really like it. I haven't had this much fun riding a small bike in ages. This is brilliant. It just handles so well. It does make me kind of miss having a sports bike in a position you can just throw it in, lovely, accelerate out. Oh, what a bike, what a bike. Okay, let's see what its filtering capabilities are like. This should filter through, no problem at all. If you took those wind mirrors off and put smaller wind mirrors on, you're laughing. So yeah, filtering capabilities, spot on. So that is one thing I would change pretty quick. I would get some smaller wind mirrors just to make it a little bit easier to filter through traffic, because having them out there, yeah, it does make it a little bit awkward at points. But just like that, you can lift them inwards and they're out of the way. Push them out and you got your wind mirrors back. So yeah, it's one of those. It's down to you, innit? Are you going to leave them on there? You get to a bit of traffic, just tuck them up, slipstream straight down the middle. Once you're over the other side, kick them back out, off we go again. I think that'll probably be the better option, but a small set of wind mirrors on the front, that's not going to make a big impact. Get it done. The black windscreen as well, that is a nice little touch Honda have thrown onto it. I really like that. Just gives it that extra racy style, makes it look a little bit more sportier. And honestly, the downshifting is phenomenal. I love the sound of this Yoshimura exhaust. Now, the other good thing about having the 500cc motorcycle is, like I was saying, it's not lightning fast, so you're not going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. But by that I mean, twist the throttle, you're going triple the speed limit and you're going to crash. What I mean is, it's going to help you get to the speed limit quite quickly, but not get you in too much trouble. However, it does therefore make you plan your overtakes, because it redlines at 9,000 RPM, and because of that, and it's 50 horsepower, you do not have buckets and buckets of power to go, yep, I'm going to pop round, off we go, and I'm done. So you do have to use your brain a little bit. You've got to plan your ride, which is a good thing. So for someone starting off thinking a 500cc is too much of a powerful engine, it's not. And I keep saying this, don't look at the size of the engine, look at the horsepower and the torque that that engine produces. This is 500cc with 50 horsepower. You then compare that to a GSXR 600, that's a sports bike, and that's got like 126 brake horsepower. So if you were to compare the two and say, wow, a 600cc has got 126 horsepower, a 500 must be equally as scary, you're wrong. It is down to the performance of that engine. This is a twin cylinder, it's just twin cylinder, that's it. Whereas a big beefy sports bike at 600, normally 4 cylinders or triples, depending if you go to Triumph. So for a first time rider, this is a cracking bike you are gonna absolutely love. And obviously if you jump up to the CBR500R, you got a 4 cylinder producing about 90 horsepower. So again, it is specific to the bike and to the power. This, brilliant. You are gonna learn to ride with a grin across your face. Get down to Crescent Honda, take this bike out for a test ride, let me know what you think of this motorcycle. If you live on the south coast of England, get down there, take it out. Don't forget to tell them you've seen this bike on RevZolution, and if you do become interested in buying one, make sure you mention RevZolution, and Steve and Justin, they may sort you out with a deal. Well worth mentioning RevZolution. Now the controls on this bike are extremely basic, very simple, therefore easy to get on with. Down on your near side, you've got your indicator, your horn, your high beam, your dip beam and your headlight flash. That is all there is, nice and simple. On the offside, you've got your engine start, your hazard lights and your engine kill switch. Again, very it's just a simple setup on this bike. I don't know why we're doing 25 miles per hour in a 40. That is a bit worrying. Now what I'm going to, oh that's good, they're turning off. What I'm going to do is just show you this bike round and roundabout, how comfortable it is. So we can get in, we can lean, we can lean, we can lean, we can lean, we can come back out of it and off we go. Now it does feel small. I am going to say that it does feel small, because when you do that on a big sports bike, let's have a quick look at the HMS Prince of Wales, or as ITV News called it the other day, the HMS Prince of Charles, or Prince Charles. What a stupid reporter. There she is, she's out there. Someone forgot to grease her shaft. Anyway, let's have a look what this bike is like in a car park. Let's slow manoeuvres, hopefully there's enough space I can do a turn in a bay. Let's have a look. Let's go down the end here. Right, I'm going to do it like you do in your mod 2, your mod 1, whatever it is. See if I can turn in here. Alright, go in here, do a turn, do a turn, do a turn, do a turn. Oh, that's, so I can do it turn in 3 bays. That is full lock. It is, let's try this one. The full lock isn't no. Yeah, full lock no, see, full lock I can't get it around in 2 bays, but I can get it around in 3 bays. So it is relatively agile in slow manoeuvring, but the nice thing is as well, where it's such a low bike, I mean at 5'8", you can get your foot down on it extremely comfortable. So if you are 5 foot, I'd say 5'5", you're still going to have no problem getting your foot down on this bike. If you're very tall, then yeah, you are going to find yourself probably uncomfortable. I mean, I've got a nice bend in my legs here. If I was 6 foot plus, I'm going to be really hunched over, and this bike is not going to be for me. So if you are a young rider, your height will play a big part in how you find this bike's comfort. A couple of nice motorcycles over there. Is that BMW R9T? An old one. That does look like an old R9T, a P-Reg, so late 90s, about 98, LMNO P QRS. No, probably about 90, yeah, about 96, 97. Cool. The BMW R9T, what a bike. That is fantastic, I love that bike. That would be in my garage. This bike comes with LEDs for the rear indicators, front indicators, and the tail light gives you a nice bright visibility for other road users, and also it's got amazing LED headlights. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the first part of my quick review on the Honda CBR500R. Stay around for part 2, where I'll go into a bit more depth about what it's like as a commuter motorcycle, what it's like from a ergonomics point of view, give you a bit more idea about the dimensions, seat height, power to weight, a few more bits and bobs. But as a first impressions for the bike, if it's going to be your first time motorcycle and you are looking at this one, you are definitely not going to be disappointed. Not at all. So from RevZolutions, thanks for watching my first part of the Honda CBR500R. Until next time, ride safe, and I will see you very, very soon.